Do you try really hard to love yourself, but it just doesn't seem to work or get any better? You don't love yourself more, even though you're doing everything that everyone says you should be doing? Well, I'm here to help you on that, because there's a couple of reasons behind this. And I can tell you why it is and also how to improve and change that so you can actually truly love yourself. So the first thing that you need to understand is that a lot of what you think you need to do in order to love yourself is actually part of a conditioning that you have. So we are all a product of our upbringing. We're a product of our parents, we're a product of our society, of our school, of our friends, of the media. We're a product of all these things. So from the very beginning, when we're small, we're like an empty hard drive, and everyone is just like filling information and beliefs onto us from the very beginning until now. So who you are now, I'd say probably 95% of the thoughts that are going through your mind are probably part of someone else, something you've been taught, something that you now believe is true because something or someone told you this. And it's kind of hard to accept because you're like, yeah, but all these thoughts, no, that's me. Yeah, sure. It's a version of you. It's probably not the most authentic version, though, of you. So when we take care of ourselves and we live our life, it can happen that a lot of our choices are not authentic to our true selves, but they are a product of what we thought we should be doing. And this also includes your self-love to-do list. So if you say, I really want to take good care of myself and love myself the way that is the correct way, then you might have a little list of things that you think are supposed to be on your self-love to-do list. So I would like it if you guys also wrote in the comments what you think is supposed to be on your self-love to-do list. So on your self-love to-do list, you're probably going to find things like nutrition, taking good care of what you eat. You're going to probably find things like physical exercise, taking care of your body. What else? Things like journaling. That's also an act of self-love, right? Maybe things like meditation, or things like, for some people it would be physical beauty routines. So whatever you think would be part of a self-love routine would be on your list. Now everyone's list is unique, I suppose, but these are probably more generic ones and more generalized ones. And I'm not saying that these are wrong. I'm just saying that they're not always the appropriate choice and the appropriate choice for you. I have a pretty good example for this for you to understand better what I'm referring to. So imagine you're coming home from work and you're feeling exhausted and tired, and you tell yourself like, okay, it's now 7 p.m. and I want to do something that's good for me. So I'm going to go to the gym now, and then I'm going to cook myself some food, probably best if I just eat like a really big salad that's really healthy. And then I'm going to clean up and tidy up and make everything really nice and perfect. And then I'm gonna do a beauty routine to look nice and fresh for the next day, and then I'm gonna go sleep at like midnight. Now, all these would probably be like ticking off a bunch of good things on your to-do list, on your self-love to-do list, right? I'm sure you can see a lot of yourself in some of these, depending on your routine and how your lifestyle is and what your values are. But you could be doing all these things and you would not feel pretty good about yourself. The next day you might feel really exhausted, and even though you did all these wonderful things to take care of yourself, like you ate a big salad, you went for a really good hard workout, then you cleaned up the apartment till it was like completely, shiny, and then you went to sleep around midnight after reading some news to keep yourself educated. The truth is, all these were things that you thought you should do. And thought being the operative word. You made decisions about how to take care of yourself based on what you thought would be right. Do you get where you start to see where I'm getting at? The point is, sometimes we make choices that are not the right choice for what we really need in that moment. And we sometimes have difficulties identifying, firstly, what is it that I actually really need in this moment? And also then accepting that and not judging it and feeling guilty. So imagine the same scenario. I come home from work and I'm really determined to take care of myself. Now, if I'm someone who might have already done some healing work and I'm aware of my conditionings and beliefs and I'm well connected to myself and I can identify what I truly need, then I might be able to recognize in that moment, maybe I'll do a little check-in with myself and like, okay, what is it that I really need right now? And I might recognize, wow, I am so frigging exhausted and tired. What I really need is to sleep. And then I look at the clock and I go, oh, it's 7 p.m. 7 p.m. and I'm tired and I want to go sleep. No, I can't do that because, it's so early in the day and, a good workout would be really good for me. I could, eat something really healthy, blah, 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 read some news, do my makeup beauty routine so I'm pretty, for everyone and myself. But I know I'm feeling tired, but I shouldn't. And instead of doing what I really want, I go off and do all those other things. So do you understand where I'm getting at? The right choice in that moment is probably to just go sleep. But because of my conditioning and my beliefs and the guilt I feel, I will choose something different. Because I might think that sleeping is the wrong choice because I would be a lazy girl if I did that at 7 p.m. The truth is though, my body has very clearly told me what it wants and needs. It has. And it's a conscious choice to go against it then, if you are aware of what's going on within you. So this is like the first version was not being aware of what's going on with you and just doing what your mind tells you. The second is being aware of what's going on with you and then making a choice against it because of guilt or socialization telling you that it's lazy to go to bed at 7, even though my body's telling me to do it. And the third choice would be the one that I would consider self-love choice, which would be to say, hey, I know it's early, but it was a freaking exhausting day and I really need to sleep right now. Now, what am I doing in that moment? I'm making a choice for me. That is self-love. I am choosing the best possible choice for me in that moment because I love myself, because I know what I really need right now is to sleep and rest. Now ask yourself, how many times have you gone against what you really need in that moment? Probably many times, right? Probably many, many, many times. And this is where we need to work on. This is what we need to work on. We need to work on being able to tune into ourselves, recognizing which of the beliefs are not really our own or a product of what society thinks is right. And this entails so many different aspects of life, to be honest, but I'm not going to even get into that. And then there's the, what do I really need? And then following that. And the thing is, it's also good to think a little bit more long term. In that moment, maybe going to the gym and eating the salad and reading the news articles and doing the makeup routine might seem like the right choice, but I might be so exhausted by the time I go to bed. Then I only get 8 hours sleep and I get up tomorrow the next day and I go to work again and I'm not feeling rested because actually I needed to sleep more, a lot more. But I went to work feeling exhausted. And if I kind of do this over a very long time, not tapping into my needs and then fulfilling my needs, I could get quite sick. I could get burnout. I could feel even more and more worse. I could get into depression, anxiety, all these kind of things because I'm not actually taking really good care of myself. I'm not loving myself in the right way. So it makes sense to take care of your needs, momentary needs, for a long-term health. I talk about this very often in my intuitive eating course or workshop, where I discuss like the difference between giving yourself what you think you want or should be eating and what you really need. And this is also a very good example of loving yourself through nutrition, because this was also one of the points on our self-love to-do list, right? Nutrition. And in the first example I gave, I said, I'm going to go eat a big salad because that would be the right choice. Now, from a cognitive level, from a mental level, yes, salad is considered healthier than, for example, say, full-fat Greek yogurt because it's less fat. But sorry, I don't, agree with that because, anyway. But let's say society tells me it's better to take a low-fat Greek yogurt or eat salad instead of the fat yogurt because it's healthier for me. And I will make that choice rather than tapping into my body and recognizing what is it that I really feel like eating today? What does my body need? And then giving it that. Now, of course, I'm not going to get into it too deep because it's a really big topic, intuitive eating. But in the moment where I choose to eat the salad rather than the Greek yogurt, I am in that moment making the choice against giving my body what it's telling me it wants and needs. And that is also not self-love. Because it's your job, so I would define self-love as like also taking care of what you want and truly need and what your body is asking for. It's saying the reason you feel a desire for something is because your body is trying to let you know, hey, I would really need some good healthy fats right now. Please give me some good healthy fats so I can function properly. And then you're like, nah, no, you're eating salad, girl. Then what? Your body's in a deficit mode because it didn't get what it actually wanted. And long term, here again, we go long term, this means that you're actually gonna be having a lot of cravings because you're not satisfying the needs of your body. So you'll probably end up eating, a lot more later on, eating a big fat chocolate cake at some point because your body is in starvation mode, thinking that you're dying and that you're harming yourself because it's in lack deficit. But you don't know what's going on in your body in that moment when you're making the choice between salad and Greek yogurt. Like your body, this is just a silly example, okay? But your liver could be needing the fat, to create liver cells. But rather than helping your liver do what it needs to do, you're giving it salad that is not really going to help it fix its liver. I don't know what. I think that the body is so intelligent, you can't always know exactly what it wants from you, and doesn't even matter. This is just like the brain trying to understand things again. Like your body is so wise. It knows so much more about what you need than you think you need. So like reading all about nutritional values and the fatty oils and the vitamins and this and this and this, it's good to know, I guess, but at the end of the day, your body is so wise and it knows exactly what you want and need to function well. And if you are in a symbiosis with your body, if you are like working well together with it in flow and intuitive and like listening to the signals of like, I'm tired, I'm hungry for this, I need that. And instead of resisting these things all the time, but actually giving yourself what you want, you are building a very healthy, loving relationship with yourself. And the energy that is produced during this process is self-love. Yeah, I'm giving myself what I'm asking for. I'm taking good care of my needs. And I'm feeling much better in my body, feeling much healthier also. I'm feeling a lot more vital. So as you can see, there's a theme here. It's the same thing as, I think this is probably my favorite example because I use it a lot in my podcast. I talk about like, also going to the gym, which is also another one of those ones on the to-do list, right? And you're like, yeah, but going to the gym is so healthy. When can it never be good to work out on your body? That is self-love. I'm doing something really good for myself. Sure. Physical activity is incredibly important. So is nutrition and sleep. But what you need to understand is, firstly, not everybody's cut out for the same type of sport. That's why I usually do alignment assessments with my clients to just like identify what are the things that are actually good for you specifically, because what might be good for one person is not necessarily good for you. We're also incredibly unique. Anyway, so back to the idea that going to the gym is something great on my to-do list. And what if I'm not feeling like going to the gym? What if you never really feel like going to the gym? Well, this is exactly my point. Maybe gym is not really the right sport for you. Maybe you're better off in badminton or going for walks. But anyway, so if you kind of feel like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I feel pretty good when I go to the gym, but yeah, I don't often feel like doing it. So I do have to kind of discipline myself to go to the gym. And then I do usually feel better afterwards. And so like, I just keep going also because, I want to be sexy and like feel good in my body, etc., etc. So let me explain this to you. A lot of people don't go to the gym because they love themselves. They go to the gym because they hate themselves. Yeah, it's true. Most of those people in the gym are like, I don't like my ass, I don't like my legs, I don't like my arms, or, I'm so, I need to work on myself to look better, feel younger. So they go to the gym with like an energy that is quite angry and hateful. And then they, put a big bow on it and then go like, oh yeah, but this is self-love. And this is again where I'm saying check in on what you're actually thinking or believing about the thing that you're doing. And also if you're lying to yourself, because if you're lying to yourself about saying, oh, I want to go to the gym because I love myself so much, but actually the truth is you're just doing it because you want to be sexy for other people so that people can validate you and make you feel good about yourself. Don't be surprised if you don't feel super great about going to the gym. Or if it's something that you really need to always force yourself and discipline yourself to go, you go to the gym. People would go to the gym not with an actual intention of self-love. Like the energy behind it is not coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place of fear, like fear of being rejected by others, fear of not being validated, fear of, not being loved. Yeah. So the energy behind the action is actually fear or anger or, self-resentment, and it's not actually love. If you went to the gym with an energy of self-love behind it, then the intention would be to check in. One, does my body need physical activity right now? Would that be the best choice for me right now? And am I doing it because I want to feel good in my body? Am I doing it because I want to feel vital? Like, am I doing it because I enjoy the movement right now? Do I feel like it would energize me? Would it bring me joy? Like, what is the energy behind the action, the choice of going to the gym for you? Check in with yourself on this one, because this is really essential, because then it is, in fact, an act of self-love when you do it for your own benefit in terms of, I love myself, so I'm doing something for myself, and not I'm going to the gym in order to be beautiful so that other people love me or think I'm great or I'm accepted or that I'm only good enough in my own opinion. So like it's a hateful energy towards yourself. I think one really good way to make sure that you're doing these things with a good intention is to check in with the relationship that you have with yourself and the sport that you're doing. So what happens to me sometimes, I'll give you a really good example that you can translate into your own life. So sometimes I'll have these moments where I'm at home making a choice like, do I go to the gym today or not? Like I personally love weight training and cardio, and I'm really someone who needs a lot of physical exercise. And gym works really well for me. I like to alternate, sometimes do other things, but gym is usually my go-to thing. And sometimes I'll be in the mood where I'm not sure, like, do I really want to go to the gym right now? And I can't really decide. And also I kind of know like I probably would feel pretty good afterwards and also during it, but I'm not sure. And I don't want to be in a hateful energy towards myself, like forcing myself to do something I don't feel like doing in that moment. But I also don't want to give in to not doing anything, because if I think long term about the rest of the day, I'm probably going to feel better if I do sport. So you know what I do then? I make a deal with myself. And this is a really good trick, but it only works if you're willing to really keep your promise to yourself. This is all about having a good relationship to yourself, which is also about self-love. So if any form of relationship is about healthy dynamic, right? So, and the same thing applies to you and your relationship to yourself. How healthy is the relationship that you have to yourself? Think about it. How healthy is it? Like, of course, we all have like an inner critic, but do we also have an inner lover, an inner supporter, an inner empowerer that's like, yeah, you're awesome, you know? Or an inner mommy that takes good care of yourself? I mean, we need to grow these parts of ourselves as well, not just always think about the inner critic, but the inner critic starts to become more quiet when we start growing the inner mommy and the inner bigger sister and the inner best friend and the inner lover, or the inner, like, you know, happy babysitter, whatever's going on in there. And in order to keep this relationship healthy, you're gonna have to build trust with yourself. And trusting yourself means making promises to yourself and keeping them. So if I promise to myself, like, hey, I know you're not sure if you want to go to the gym. I know you're not feeling completely against it, and it'd probably be good for you. You'd probably enjoy it. So let's make the deal. You get to go to the gym. And if you don't like it, if you go there and you realize you're not feeling it at all, you get to leave. I won't judge you. I won't criticize you. You just get to go. Now, if I go to the gym then, and at the gym I realize, like, I'm not enjoying this at all. It was a bad decision. I don't feel good right now. All I want to do is sleep. And then I force myself to stay there anyway. Then I would be going back on my promise. The promise I'd made to myself. And what happens then? I'm sabotaging the relationship that I have to myself. I will know from now on that I can't trust myself. I know that when I say the next time, oh, you can go to the gym, but you don't have to stay long, that I'm lying, that I'm a big fat liar. So that's why I keep my promise and I say, okay, no problem, babe. You get to go home and no judgment, no problem. And because I'm so truthful with myself, I go to the gym a lot more than I would maybe if I was constantly using forceful, angry, disciplined energy. And the truth is, most of the time I go to the gym, I'm there for 10 minutes, I'm loving it, and then I end up staying. That's like usually 90% of the time. But there's 10% where I then legit just leave. And the question for you is, how is the relationship to yourself? Are you someone that you can trust? Are you someone who will take care of your best needs? Are you your own mom or your own dad? Are you going to take care of the things that you need honestly? Or are you going to force yourself to do things you don't want to do? Is this a common theme in your life? Because if it is, then that is not really true love. You are not loving yourself in a way that is coming from a soft, gentle energy. Taking yourself out dancing all night, it's not soft, gentle, but it's also self-love. Like, that's what you really needed in that moment, a good dance, move your body, interact with other humans, whatever, listen to music and, you know, go in the flow, whatever it is you need. Or so I'm not saying it just has to always be soft energy, but my point is being like, it's so important that you have a good relationship with yourself, that you learn to tune into your real needs, whatever those may be. And if you're not sure what are those, learning to identify the layers of conditioning that are on you and trying to figure out what's the real authentic needs that you have within you. Yeah? And also simultaneously, like, having a sort of practicing the connection between yourself and like your soul, your intuition, your inner knowing, like that little voice in the back that usually tells you things like that you know are true or you need. You can strengthen that voice. You can strengthen it if you choose, if you have the intention to say, I really want to grow that inner voice that knows what's best for me. Because that will also support me long term in taking good care of myself, making good choices. if you start to really learn to listen to the signals of your body and your inner knowing, then you are becoming more authentic as well. And you can align with what you authentically need. And your whole life will start to transform around you. It starts small with food and sport and sleep and lifestyle. And it starts to grow and grow and grow. And eventually it'll start to affect much bigger things in your life. And you'll become more authentic and more connected to what you want and need. And you can hear yourself and your inner intuition a lot more clearly, and your life will start to improve dramatically in lots and lots of different layers of your life. So it's not just about self-love, it's about alignment through authenticity. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will be continuing to make more videos about authenticity, empowerment, alignment, and And you can also follow me on Instagram at befreebylola. And yeah, wishing you guys a lovely day. Mwah.